when you start to actually look into the ingredients and the formulations, like I've done that for one that just came up recently. I was like, oh my gosh, absolutely hard no.
So that's why I always say, like, just be diligent. Like, look at stuff that you're putting, and you're putting it on your skin every single day. Like, it's absorbing in so fast because it's going inside your body. Those are oils that are not good for your skin. They're like sitting there to make you look dewy.
It's the same with the food supply, right? It's the same with like margarine that has hydrogenated oils. And if you look at the nutritional labels, it says only take a quarter of a teaspoon or eighth of a teaspoon, because after that, they've gone over and now it's what? It is completely trans fats. So same thing with skincare.
She put on this mask that was being sold on TikTok Shop. You know, I think it was like a K-beauty related mask. And she broke out into red rash, and it's been 3 months. And her dermatologist is trying to figure out what has happened. Do not buy unknown brands on TikTok Shop because it looks cool. Like, it's your skin. Do some research.
This is Keep It Clear, real conversations about skin, acne, and women's health without the overwhelm. Because you deserve answers that actually make sense. Today's episode starts now. Well, we know I'm a big skincare girly. I will add to cart anything. I will try anything out. But I am actually so super picky, Cris, about what skincare companies we bring on the podcast.
Well, absolutely. We can't preach it if, we're not going to follow through with it.
Yeah, no, and like we get pitched dozens and dozens every single month of skincare companies. So I'm very, very selective. I think we've really only had 2 on. So I'm really excited because this is actually the first time that we've had a Canadian founded skincare company. And what really caught my attention, and I'm so excited because the CEO of Veriphy Skincare, Lindsay Nahmiache, did I say that right? Like I tried really hard.
A very difficult last name.
Okay, I was practicing and I was like, I don't want to screw it up. But I'm so excited that you're here. And the reason why it was an auto yes for me to have you guys on the podcast is not only are you Canadian founded, but it was discovered at the University of Guelph. I went to Guelph Humber, which is an offshoot of Guelph. I'm like, oh my gosh, I would absolutely love to have a local homegrown skincare company on the podcast. And I found out as we were chatting that it's actually made next door to my hometown.
Well, you know what? I love those serendipities.
I know, it's so nice. So I actually, Lindsay, I would love for you to share, like, how did you first discover Veriphy? But was it more of the skincare brand, or was it the ingredients they were using originally?
So I'll give you a quick backstory of the brand and then my discovery of it. So it was actually, as you said, it was discovered through the University of Guelph. They revealed this crazy phytospherics. It's basically photoglycogen, which is a vegan form of glycogen, which in layman's terms means it delivers like super hydration, more so than most forms of glycogen, which are made from marine and shellfish. So they discovered this crazy new novel ingredient is this biotech science-based company. And some super smart women that were at the biotech company go, let's start a skincare brand around it because that's a way to really bring it to market and deliver it so people can see the benefits. And so that's what they did. And they did a fantastic, as only scientists would do, they did a fantastic job of clinical trials, rigor testing, and like insane formulation, which a lot of beauty and skincare products don't necessarily do because they're more focused on the brand and all of that. But I mean, what they did and how they built it was incredible. So super strong foundation. But they were a biotech company first and foremost. So what ended up happening is because the ingredient is so powerful, they ended up selling to a Swiss ingredient company. And I was using this skincare line and I had been using like really expensive lines because I like putting, I'm like, I'll try.
Same, that's me.
You're like,
I'll buy $500 serum. Absolutely.
100%. And so I was always, and one of my girlfriends, I'm born in Canada, born in Toronto, one of my girlfriends was like, oh, you need to try this brand. And so I started using it. Is this magic? For me, I'm 44, my skin's a little bit different now. Like I need a lot of hydration. And this was like, I was starting to use it. I was like, I'm getting so many compliments. And so I was just going along. And then I found out that they were selling and they were not going to keep the brand. I was like, there is no way this can go away. So the CEO, an amazing gentleman of the biotech company, we just talked together, he was, and it worked out. Like it wasn't like this huge transaction. They were a tiny little brand at that time. And so we took it over and we've been growing it and expanding it through like not venture money, right? So this is all like blood, sweat, tears, like a little brand that could. So we're going a lot slower than a lot of these big brands who have huge budgets. But the power of the product speaks for itself because our returning customer rate is so high. So we have a very loyal customer base, which lets us grow at a sustainable rate versus there's all these skincare brands popping off with celebrities and all this, and you buy it and then you don't use it again, and that's not a sustainable business model. So anyways, that's the long-winded story of I was a loyal fan and saw an opportunity to be able to expand it and help it, and it's been great. A labor of love.
Yeah, I absolutely loved it. And, because both Cris and I got to try the products, and like, I'm a big fan of a nice brand, like a nice marketing. I want it to look good on my countertops. And both Cris and I are like, oh my gosh, like the dark green with the gold, like it looks so pretty to just like keep on the countertop.
Yeah, exactly. You want to feel good. Like that's like, it's your part of the experience. It's your ritual. I mean, you want it to work. So, you can have like all the marketing and packaging in the world, but then it needs to work, and you want to feel good with it on your counter.
Now, and another thing that really drew my attention, because at first I was like, oh, Guelph, it was women founded, like I'm all about that. And then I was like, well, I need to make sure like the products are good. So when I was digging into the ingredients, it was one that I had actually never heard of before. And being in this world, I'm like, I've heard of pretty much everything. So can you tell us a little bit more about like that key ingredient that you guys are using in Veriphy?
Yes. So we call it phytospherics. And what it is, it's a vegan form of glycogen. So it's a photoglycogen molecule, which, I mean, it does a whole bunch of things. It's in every single one of our products, and we have like high levels of it because it's so effective. But in essence, what it does is it just turbocharges moisture. So if that's why, 40 plus skin really resonates well with it. I mean, it works well for younger skin as well, but people who are lacking moisture notice an immediate difference. And it stimulates the power of your own skin, which is what I like, because a lot of active ingredients are just like synthetic and doing things. This is like having your skin create more collagen on its own. So it's basically powering your skin to do what your skin should do if it was performing naturally healthy, all of that. And I'm a big believer in that. Like, you kind of get to a certain age and you're like, I'm just not putting junk on my skin that's going to make it dependent upon it. And then it puts it into, shock state, and then it's causing more havoc than it's worth. We're also a big believer of less is more. So, there's this trend a couple of years ago, like skin flooding, and everyone's putting like 20 different layers on their skin of different.
It gets crazy. It was crazy out there. And then the morning shed, I was like, this is getting out of hand.
And it's like, that's horrible. It's really bad for your skin. And a lot of people were really messing up their skin because if you're combining multiple active ingredients with each other, like you're just thinking, oh yeah, that's going into your body. And that is doing a lot of damage. So I always say, regardless of what line you're using, like really look at what actives you're mixing with each other, or look at what you're putting on. And your skin is actually really powerful if you just like fuel it with the stuff that it needs in order to do what it's meant to do.
And so I always like, because when, Cris is not a big skincare person, I'm the big skincare person. So I actually really love when we try new products. I'm like, Cris, like, what is your opinion? Because she's going to like really notice what she likes and what she doesn't. So Cris, I'm curious. Do you want to share the one that you really loved?
Okay, first and foremost, I love that there was a number system. I cannot thank you enough for that number system. Because I'm newer. I shouldn't say I'm newer, but I'm like, and I'll just put some castor oil on my face and call it a day. You know what I mean? Like, I'll just like, what's this attitude lotion? Just, okay, I'll try that, right? Like, I have never been in it. Like, if I wear mascara, this is like a big event. My girls are like, oh, Mom, where are you going? Like, so it's just not my thing, right? So, yeah. So thank you very much for the number system, because I am telling you, I love that. It simplifies everything. And for people that don't always have the skincare, you need that triage, right? Like, I threw out the boxes. Who knew you're supposed to keep those if you didn't, have a system? But I like how it's not greasy. I like how when you put it on, so I'll put a little bit on and I just kind of like, and I just watch it kind of go right into my face, and I'm like, oh, thank you. So I know that there's no, like inappropriate barriers in there that are just kind of surface level. I know it's going in. The eye cream, I know Katie is like raving about it all the time.
I love it. I love an eye cream though.
I like how it's all together. I couldn't figure out what the smell with the mist was. And I'm like,
Oh, it smells so good.
I'm like,
So
what is that?
we're fragrance free, like on purpose, the line, but the mist has like a hint of vanilla through one of
Yes.
but it's not a fragrance line.
Which I loved, but it took me a while.
We're just like fragrances actually disrupt hormones. So we just
Exactly.
stay away from.
So that's when I first put it on. I'm like, uh-oh. So I started going through the packaging again. I'm like, there's something wrong here. And then we realized it was vanilla. So we're like, oh, and then we just loved it again, right? So small little nuances into my world, right? Like Katie's like, oh, I love how it goes on the counter. I'm like, oh, okay, listen, I put everything in my drawers, right? So like we are complete opposites. But from the marketing to the coloring to the number system, I mean, from somebody that does not do a lot of skincare, like I think you're nailing it. Like it looks so good. It feels good too. I have no idea. Please don't ask me the names, but I love the names. Like you have a Control-Alt-Delete. Like I love the names. Don't ask me what. There's one that goes on right after the mist. You know, you got to like push up, right?
You can tell Cris is not the skincare
I am not. But this
guru
is
here.
I love this though. Like this is what it's meant for. It's meant for, it's meant for people who are obviously aficionados of skincare, but it's also meant for people who are just like, I just want something that works and I just want to trust it and I don't want a whole bunch of hype.
and I am well in my 40s. So ideal target market right here. Do I know everything it's supposed to do? No. So I went in blind, but I like to do that. I like to do like a blind, kind of like the placebo, I'm putting it on. But overall, I like that it has no residue. I really love that because that's, even in expensive products, that's hard to find. Right? And it doesn't feel tight, like you've had a facelift on some of the serums that, I mean, I would totally go for one, but it just doesn't feel like that, But yeah, so just overall, I just like the whole, my favorite is the moisturizer before the eye cream. Number four, everybody, number 4, go get your number 4.
Yeah. And listen, we have it as a system, like 5 steps, like super simple, but people don't have to use all steps. We just say like, this is the way that you do it. For example, for people who are just like, I don't want any, headache and drama, just tell me what to do. But there's a lot of people also that just like, they'll come in for the core trio, which is, the serum, the eye cream, and the moisturizer. Or some people like, they love the mist and they just, so people can we're not here to replace all your favorites in your system. But what usually happens is people come in for 1 or 2 products and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm noticing a difference. And then they go and they look at the science and they see the clinicals and the data. It's not just marketing hype. And they're like, okay, I'll try it. And then all of a sudden they're on the whole system. So, and that's fine, whatever works for people in their lives.
And one thing I did want to touch on that we briefly spoke about is the insane amount of skincare companies that are out there right now, right? Like every other day, there's a new celebrity, a new influencer coming out with a skincare line. And a lot of the times is they get all of this hype because of their notoriety on social media. But when you start to actually look into the ingredients and the formulations, like I've done that for one that just came out recently. I was like, oh my gosh, absolutely hard no. So let's really talk about maybe some ingredients that we want to be watching out for in products.
I mean, there's unfortunately a lot, but I think just to go back to your thing on that, and it's, listen, each to their own on how they do it. And we'll say that some celebrities and some influencers are really doing their diligence.
They do, yeah. I've seen some great ones.
And so there is some great ones. This is not a blanket statement. But what happened is, skincare popped off in the last 5-6 years of these indie brands like doing really well. So there's these things called white labeling through contract manufacturers. And what that is, it's just like pre-designed formulations that are budget friendly, right? And they're and they can go off the shelves and get a moisturizer or whatever it is, and not have to spend any time on formulation, not have to spend any time on like clinicals and data, and launch a skincare brand and be the marketing engine because you're an influencer or a celebrity. And so that's one area of what's happened and what's been an issue. And then there's the brands that, don't necessarily come out the gates as strong, but they spend a lot of time in the R&D and they're doing clinicals and they're looking at the formulations and they're making sure the ingredients are good. And you just don't get as many of those that then have the fun, because then you need a lot of money. Like people don't realize, like in order for, like if you're hearing about a skincare company everywhere, they're spending millions of dollars on marketing to get that visibility. Whether it's the influencer themselves or it's their media strategy, whatever it is. So that's why I always say, like, just be diligent. Like, look at stuff that you're putting on your skin every single day. Like, it's absorbing in so fast because it's going inside your body. Make sure that those ingredients are, you don't want the phthalates, you don't want all the, like what you talked about, Cris, about like when you put things and it sits on top of your skin because it makes it look dewy. Like, those are oils that are not good for your skin. They're like sitting there to make you look dewy so you think it's going well, but you just got to be really, really careful of what your choices are.
Yeah, because a lot of years go into well-developed skincare brands, like you said, right? There's a lot of the clinical and like the research, and like that's years and years of time. And oftentimes, like what you see as a skincare brand, it's been in development for a very long time.
Yeah, ones that are good, yes, they have, right? And this is the thing that I love about Canada. So like, no shade to the US, but like Canada's point, they are rigorous with their testing and requirements of ingredients. I mean, US is getting better, so I will give them props for that. Like, they are getting better. But Canada holds itself to very high standards. You can't have ingredients that are going to cause damage. You just Health Canada reached out to us recently. They're like, "Hey, this product's great. We just want to do new testing." I'm like, absolutely. Like, I love that. Like, you don't have FDA reaching out saying that they're going to be wanting to do just like random testing. Like, Canada does that because it sits to European standards. So I always say, like, listen, the ultimate is like, I would say like French pharmacies. Like, if you go into a French pharmacy in France, like, go at it. You know what I mean? Like,
take a trip. Now we have to go.
You got to take a trip. It's like the most fun to do, by the way, but you see, like, but they have gone through rigorous testing. And so, there used to be, it's changed a little bit, but in the US, things under 1%, you didn't have to list it on the label. What? Are you kidding me? Like, no.
That's crazy. Like, you truly don't know what you're putting on your body.
It's the same with the food supply, right? It's the same with like margarine that has hydrogenated oils. And if you look at the nutritional labels, it says only take a quarter of a teaspoon or eighth of a teaspoon, because after that, they've gone over, and now it's what? It is completely trans fats. So same thing with skincare. Yeah, it's just this under the radar thing that really annoys me, because it's like people are stamping it. Like, associations are stamping it. Predominant associations are stamping things. And I'm like, oh, and I have to explain that to clients. And I'm like, no, we can't do that. We just can't do it.
But, and I think I feel like people are getting smarter. So I feel like it's changing, and we're starting to see it change, but it's still there. And it's, talking about the food system, like, there's a lot of money being made on keeping people unhealthy, right? Like, it's not good for business to keep people healthy, because then they go to the private healthcare system, and like, you don't want that. So I think people just need to be more discerning. I had a friend the other day was talking about, she bought listen, I love TikTok Shop more than anyone else. Like, you get so many things and you're like, well, that's cool. Buy, try. She put on this mask that was being sold on TikTok Shop. I think it was like a K-beauty related mask. And she broke out into red rash, and it's been 3 months, and her dermatologist is trying to figure out what has happened, because it's like, people don't talk about that enough. Like, that's the thing. Do not buy unknown brands on TikTok Shop because it looks cool. Like, it's your skin. Do some research.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think we just get so caught up, especially K-beauty. Like, they're having such a big moment right now. Like, everywhere is K-beauty. So I think people are automatically like, oh, if it's K-beauty, it's got to be good.
It's almost like it's a certification of or something, and it's not. It's a trend. Listen, there's some great K-beauty. So it's like all these things that you can't generalize, because there's some fantastic players doing some really great things in this. You just got to make sure you look at it. And that's why I say, like, less is more. Like, we will never be a 30 product SKU brand. Like, it just won't happen. We are these few products. They work well. That's all your skin needs. And so that's what, we sit behind, because you see these brands that have tons of SKUs, but they have a couple heroes, but they still have to spend all this time, money supporting all these other SKUs. And it's, why? Just to increase the basket size? Like, just have a product that people go back for. That's how you increase your business.
And for you, being in this space, because you guys were founded back in 2019, I believe. Yeah, 2019. So you've been in this, isn't it crazy that'll be like a decade in a couple of years?
Oh my God.
Isn't that weird? That's strange. Sorry.
Stop talking, Katie, because I just think my age goes up with that.
I know. Everybody's age goes up.
I had to do this activity. I was at this retreat thing and they're like, talk about, like, put your children's age in 10 years. And I was like, oh my God, he's going to be like 18 years. I was like, no.
I know. I thought about that the other day. My 9-year-old turns 10 this year. I'm like, he's like halfway done his time at home with me. That's crazy.
It's so sad when you think about it. And it's good. It helps you focus on the moments that matter. But yeah, it's wild. What do you think?
Wild. So let's forget about that being in a few years.
Like right now, because
Like
I
right
have
now,
one that's
but-
going to university. So let's stop talking.
I know. It's weird. So for you, Lindsay, you know, being in this space, like what do you find is not only maybe like really trending right now, but where do you see this space going in the next few years? Because it's growing at such a rapid pace.
Yeah, I think, listen, what the good thing is that it bubbled really fast out of COVID, and you're seeing an attrition rate of brands just dissipating because there was so much venture that went into the skincare space, I'd say about 4 years ago. But if companies weren't profitable, they were built unsustainably because they were buying growth. So I think we're starting to see an attrition of brands that just aren't going to make it. And some of them are good brands. They just took venture and you grow at it's not a good business model. But I will say, like, I know we've always been at this skin minimalism place of how we were developed as a brand, but I do feel like that's starting to trend because we had skin flooding a couple years ago. We had all of this, like, this TikTok, like, try everything type thing. And people are becoming a lot more smart, right? They're looking at, like, no, ingredients matter. No, and especially when you get into your 40s, you're just sitting there being like, how can I make myself live longer and optimize, perform? And it's more of you edit your life versus adding to it. And I think that's starting to happen with younger generations as well. And I think it's a really good thing. So I think we're going to see this, back to basics, really focus on what works, less about, and AI is also a blessing and a curse, but you can really find things that are right for you based on incredible reviews. So if you suffer from rosacea, before you'd be like, okay, but now you can use AI to, like, really uncover and then do your research on what might be the best thing for your skin and why things haven't been working. So I do think we're coming into, like, an age of education and an age of discernment where people are making smarter choices.
Yeah, because I think we were just inundated, especially in the health and wellness space and the beauty space, with, like, overabundance. It's like, add to cart, what else can I buy? And I think people are getting burnt out by it. It's like burnt out by the 15-step skincare routines and, like, all of these different beauty, like, gadgets. And, like, you see some beauty influencers and they have, like, an hour and a half routine every morning. And, like, that's not sustainable.
I mean, I don't know about you, but I do not have that
I do
time.
not have that. I can barely, like, make myself a matcha in the morning, let alone have an
Who
hour
are
and a
you
half.
following, first of all, that has that routine? Like, that's a buy.
Cris.
That's a good buy.
It shows up in your feed, and they're like, this is the routine I do every morning. And it literally is like 85 steps. I'm like, how in the world are you doing this? You're just an influencer with no kids at home. That's definitely what you're doing.
And to your point, like, we're also getting to this part where people are, like, realizing, like, oh, this influencer is talking about this product this week, and now they're talking about this product, and now
This product that week.
and it's like,
It's a paycheck.
so we're exactly. So we're getting smarter, and I do listen. But I know, like, people, like, say recession and all that stuff, but we're just getting into an age where people are, like, more discerning of where they're putting their dollars, and I think that's going to help the best brands survive. And that's why I say to don't look at what your top line first customer revenue is, because anyone can market and get that. Like, what is your returning customer rate and how long are they returning for? Like, that to me is, like, good brand. And if brands would be more visible about that side of their business, then skincare really works and performs versus just this hype.
Yeah, that would be such a good metric to start seeing, is, like, who's actually coming back, what's the retention rate, how long are they a customer for, what are they buying on repeat? Like, you can really start to see those trends.
Yeah, that's the interesting data, right? And I think that also, like, as private equity, they were swooping in and buying up a lot of these brands. Now that's a big thing. And also, like, this gear towards science, right? Is like, show me the studies. Like, don't just show me the hype, show me, like, the actual data behind it. Third party, not done by you, is some focus group, like actual trials by like reputable. And like, people are demanding that more. Again, savvy people are demanding that more, but I do feel like we're starting to see that.
And, I know this isn't super skincare related, but I think it's a really great topic to include because you being a female entrepreneur. And I feel like in the last, like, 5, maybe even 8 years, we've seen a lot of female entrepreneurs, a lot of female businesses really start rising and, like, taking over this space. So for you, doing this back in 2019, were you always an entrepreneur, or did you get into this space because of Veriphy?
I've always been an entrepreneur. I mean, my dad was an entrepreneur. I'd say it was like a genetic DNA thing that just happened. I tried to get a job. I will never forget. Like, I went for an interview. No one would hire me. And I was just like, I'm not done. You are. And so I think it was like the universe's way of guiding me into it. But I was forced to start my own business when I was out of college in my early 20s. And I started in the communications world. So we did like Richard Branson Virgin was one of my first clients, and we helped them launch like on social. And we were really into like the story, the brand, like the heart and soul of what drives a business and what drives that psychology and that attraction. And so I've always been in it. And then I just got involved with lots of different startups along the way, because I feel, some people go to Vegas and gamble, or some people have a shopping addiction. Like, I have a business addiction. I just love talking to entrepreneurs and seeing what they're up to. And I mentor a ton. And, that's why this to me was just like, okay, this is like something that I care about deeply, because I'm in my health and longevity and all that. And I'm really into skincare. And I can also like match my passion of just like that story building, brand and entrepreneurship. And I like women rule the world, like truly, because I love my men, but when women come into a business, they don't just look at it as like, oh, it's just numbers and like, how do we get a quick, they like build a business. And it sometimes is a little bit slower because they're building it from a place of like profitability versus just growth for the sake of growth. But usually you have a lot more heart and thoughtfulness across the different elements of it. And we got a lot of stamina. We like people that are like, you can be a mom, you can be a business, like you can do it all because we can balance more. And that's gender stereotype. But anyways, that's where
well, you're preaching to the choir here. We also agree. Like, yeah, I always say like, I love that my husband can carry things in for me, open jars, lift heavy things, and that's pretty much all I need you for, really, at the end of the day. I'm kidding, Frank, if you're listening. I need you for more. But, what really excites you, having been an entrepreneur for, like you said, early 20s, so over 20 years you've been an entrepreneur. What really excites you about this like age that we're living in female entrepreneurship?
I just think that we're in an age, if people have a dream or a vision, they don't feel like it's not possible, because you're fed with stories and examples of how it is possible. And I think even 20 years ago, there was no social media, so you weren't seeing it as much. It was either like a built-in thing that you did, or you didn't have models of possibility. And I think now there's a lot more models of possibility out there. And I think it's a great thing. Like, I think it's for me, like I was never into art. I was never an artist. But like business was my creativity. Like for me, like putting that is my art. That's how I express. That's how I do things. And I think that people have more access to seeing other people do that, which makes it more tangible for them to be able to do.
Like, you really do see so many women-owned businesses now, especially on social media. And it's like when you see other women doing it, you're like, oh, I can do that too. It's like, I think it's probably been one of my favorite things about social media, is just being able to see other people doing these great things.
And that, like, I love that you just said that, because, a lot of people complain, oh, social media is destroying things and it's like you doom scrolling. Like, curate your feed better, because like that algorithm can play good or bad, right? So like I go on there and I swear my Instagram is like a dose of rainbows and happiness, because I just follow these like accounts that are like so positive and like entrepreneurship this or like this. And I love it. Like listen, you do have to limit the amount that you're on, but then I have other friends that, if you do click a few things, you get fed there, right? So like curate your feed. Like you just got to curate your life, and you can have it work for you versus against you.
Yeah, and I think, I don't know if everybody has this on their Instagram, but they just release features where you can actually go and see what the algorithm thinks you want to see. And you could even add new tags and remove tags of things they want to see. So I was like, oh, this is great, because you can go in, if you accidentally like, all of a sudden you get all these doom things. You're like, what in the world did I click on to get fed this? So I think if you want to, be utilizing social media in that healthier space, in that more positive way, is go and, like you said, go and curate, put things that are going to make you happy and laugh and all those things. We don't need to always be doom and gloom all the time.
No, exactly. And then the one thing I'll say about, like it shows more access to female entrepreneurs that you can see people doing it. But there's like, it's not easy. You know what I mean? So you still have to have like grit and resilience. So you can see the potential, but then when you get into it, like you have to have the follow through, because it like everyone's like, you're an entrepreneur. And I'm like, do you know how many sleepless nights I have? Do you know the level of anxiety that I carry
every night,
day basis? Like it's not healthy, but I have no other option because that's just who I am. But so I think people knowing both sides of that as well. Like I've got friends that like, started to be entrepreneurs and then they realize like, this is not for me. It's not a healthy balance for me. That's amazing. Like I think there's people talking about knowing themselves, right? Like if that doesn't work for you and you were able to own that, that makes you stronger than most people, because a lot of people just think they have to do something a certain way because everyone else can.
I think that's such a good point, is understanding yourself, because you're right. Like being an entrepreneur on the outside seems so, oh my gosh, you get to set your own hours. You work for yourself. That must be great. And then on the flip side, you're like, literally, how often are you lying awake at 3 a.m.? You're like, oh my gosh, what about that marketing campaign? And this needs to happen. I got to send that in for the taxes. Like, it's a really hard thing. And I think resiliency is the number one skill that I have developed as an entrepreneur. Yeah, you got to have a thick skin. So, Cris, any additions? Because Cris has also been in the business space for a little while.
Well, much like Lindsay, I born and bred, right? I think if you grow up in it, you just have this different outlook. You don't see your parents all the time at dinner. You don't, you're watching them grow and foster things. So for sure, I was in that. I have a business background. How I got into health is a whole other story. But yeah, so you're in it or you're not. Like it's like olives. You love them or you don't, right? There's no in between. That's business for you. You either have the skin, and there's a lot of resilience with the brain flexibility too. It's understanding. So, I have my own business. I hang out with other entrepreneurs. But the big thing for me is now at my age, I love going to other people's businesses and being like, okay, listen, here's some ideas.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why I keep her around for so long.
Yeah. This is thanks. God, there's my paycheck there. But yeah, no, I love doing that now, right? Because through the evolution of business, you've already done those things. You've seen what's failed. You've tried it. It's no different than, skincare, and we're like, oh, I can't do that again. Or your friend with the rash, never going to buy that mask again, right? Guaranteed. So we learn from experience. And I'm just so comfortable in my experience that I'm like, hey, let's go in and let's see where there's potential holes, because when we're working in it, we don't see them. And that's what I really, really love now. So that's where I am in my career.
It's so rewarding, right? You're able to and part of me is just like, why couldn't I have this level of understanding 20 years ago? It's not how time works.
And something that you do, Lindsay, is, being a female entrepreneur, is you guys actually give scholarships to women in STEM as well. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So as we were talking about, we were discovered at the University of Guelph, and women in STEM, science, technology, engineering, math programs, and business is really important to us. So we have been giving scholarships every year to women entering STEM programs as well as business programs at the University of Guelph. And it's amazing to see I think when women see, oh, wow, I can still follow my passion of science and biology and chemistry, but I can do it in an industry that I love, like health and wellness or skincare or whatever it might be. It opens more potentials. So it's really important to us. It's a great feeling, and it's just a homage to where we were born.
I love that. Amazing. Well, Lindsay, thank you so much for hanging out with us today on Keep It Clear. If people want to go and learn more about Veriphy, where can they check you out?
Veriphy Skincare, and we're spelled Veriphy because it's the phytospherics in the ingredient, which is...
Oh,
I know.
Okay.
Marketing standpoint, it's probably not the easiest because people are like, Verify it, but it works. It means a lot to us. So Veriphy Skincare all over social, and we'll give a discount code for audience that they can use. So we'll send that after, and yeah.
Amazing. I'll put that in the show notes. So I'll make sure I have all of Veriphy's information, the discount code, everything will be in the show notes, so that way you guys can go and check it out. If you want to support a female-owned, female-founded Canadian brand, Veriphy is what you want to check out. All right, everybody. Have a lovely rest of your day, and we will see you next week on Keep It Clear.